Dear community supporters and friends, we are at the final days of Passover. So on the last day of Passover, we're going to have here at 5:45 special prayers for our brothers and sisters in Israel, the hostages, for Jews around the world, and for world peace. And this meal, this gathering, we're going to be serving a full meal. It is called the Mashiach's Suda, the meal of Mashiach. It was instituted by the Baal Shem Tov, and it would start on Passover and it would bleed over post-Passover, drawing the redemptive power of Passover into the rest of our year. And then, many years later, the fifth Lubavitcher Rebbe also instituted that we should drink 4 cups of wine together with this meal. Just as we started Passover with the 4 cups, we finish the Passover with the 4 cups of wine. In lieu of this, I'm going to share with you a teaching I just heard from a very dear friend of mine, a classmate, Rabbi Chaim Fogelman, he's in charge of the OK Kosher laboratories that you see on all the foods, the symbol, the OK. And he shared with me today that there's a teaching that the 4 cups of wine have to do with an interesting story of Joseph. So I want to read to you what happened when Joseph was in prison and he met the wine merchant of Pharaoh, and the Pharaoh's wine merchant had a dream and Joseph interprets it. So I'm going to read to you verse 11. Pharaoh's cup was in my hand, and I took the grapes and squeezed them into Pharaoh's cup. I placed a cup on Pharaoh's palm. Verse number 12. Joseph said to him, this is the interpretation. The 3 tentrals are 3 days. In another 3 days, Pharaoh will reappoint your head and restore you to your position. Then you will place Pharaoh's cup into his hand. So we have 4 times the word cup. So the question here is why? What is the dream of the wine merchant have to do with our Passover Seder, with our 4 cups of redemption? And this is what my friend shared with me. You see, the whole story of this whole cups of wine, what happened? Our sages say that there was a fly that entered into Pharaoh's cup. And when Pharaoh looked at his cup and saw the fly, he immediately had the wine merchant arrested. And when the wine merchant was arrested, that's how he met Joseph. And when he met Joseph, he has this dream. And when he has this dream, he tells it to Joseph. And Joseph then interprets the dream. And then he's returned to his post by Pharaoh. Pharaoh has a dream. And he mentions, I have a person who knows how to interpret it. Joseph is brought out of prison, placed as the second viceroy, and plants the seeds for the future redemption of the Jewish people. So how did this all happen? It all happened with one little fly. One little fly makes its way into the cup, and look at the chain, the domino reaction. The lesson here is, my friend, sometimes we think to ourselves, wow, the world is in such chaos. What can little me do here in North Miami? What can I do to affect an entire redemption of the world? Let us learn from the little fly. One little fly doing one little thing, and look what happens. So my friends, as we end Pesach, and we have Mashiach's meal, let us remember what Maimonides says. The entire world will always be viewed as a balance between good and evil. And one little person's little action, it leans the scale over to the good. And Mashiach comes. Chag Sameach.